Welcome to Change the Conversation with the Hopefulist. My name is Wendy McClure, and it's time we had a conversation about living in a patriarchy and how that affects our lives. Together, we can make a difference and change the conversation. Here it is, day 2 of the Fix It Challenge, and I'm pretty excited. Day 1 was all about gratitude and how you can add more gratitude into your life. Today, we're going to be talking about sort of the opposite. It's going to be about letting go of the shame. Shame has such an interesting part of women's lives. It's got such a role in it, and it starts this shaming of girls and women from the time that they're young. One of the reasons that I was so upset when Florida was talking about banning discussions of menstrual cycles in elementary school is because I don't understand the point of that. I don't understand why we are making a natural occurrence that happens in half of the population for many, many years, something that can't be discussed. Because to me, that's what that is about. It is about shaming girls and letting them know right away that something that is happening inside their body is so shameful that it can't even be discussed in school. There can't be any other reason for it. Why would we act like that was some sort of no-no? It's the same thing as having to urinate. It's the same thing as having to defecate. Everybody does it. All women, most women, will have their periods for 30 to 40 years. So why we're acting like it's this something that needs to be shrouded in secrecy and can't be discussed has to be a way to make young girls feel like this is something shameful, that something is naturally happening to them that we should be ashamed and embarrassed about. And it still is to this day. How many of us, now that we're older, most of us that are, I don't even need them anymore. I'm talking about the tampons and the pads. I don't need any of that stuff anymore. Thank goodness. But, we've often, when we were young, were embarrassed to have to go buy them, to have to put them up on the counter, to act like we need them. Again, a naturally occurring condition that happens every single month to the majority of females on this planet. And even still to this day, women that are at, say, the workplace, they'll hide their pad or their tampon as they go to the bathroom. They'll put it in a pocket, or they'll make sure it's in their purse, and they'll take their purse with them. Like, it's the same thing as using toilet paper. If you're out of toilet paper in the bathroom, do you go and very secretively say to somebody who's in charge of that and say, "Oh, there's no toilet paper," and then they hand it to you, and then you hide it underneath your shirt, and you go, no, why do you not do that? Because it's natural. It's something that happens, and it's necessary. But yet women all over this country are still hiding their tampons and their pads when they go to the bathroom in public so that people won't know that they have their cycle at that moment. And why? To shame us. To shame us. I think we should be put up as heroes for the fact that we do everything that we do while we're experiencing our cycle. We should be put up on a pedestal for that. We should be bowed down to for that. But instead, we have to act like it's not happening, and we have to pretend like it doesn't affect us, even though we all know that it does. So these are some of the ways that they try to shame us from the get-go. The other way is, just what we have expectations for women and girls in this country. Girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. No, not every girl is sugar and spice and everything nice. And Why do girls have to be sugar and spice and everything nice? So many girls have gone through traumatic experiences because they've been afraid to speak up and be what some consider rude in order to stand their ground, in order to hold a boundary, to keep them feeling safe and secure. That's what that does, is anytime that you're not nice, you feel like you're wrong. So we feel shame about that because that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be being nice. Let's talk about the standards that women have. Let's talk about the weight standards, how you're only beautiful when you're youthful. You are expected to do it all. You can do it all. You can have it all. You totally can. The way that we have to dress, the makeup that we have to put on, the hair that we have to do each and every day, the way that we dress. Is it too sexy? Is it not sexy enough? It's okay to be sexy, but don't be slutty. And where is that line? Where is that line? We don't know. We're encouraged from the time that we're young that sex sells. You've heard that. Everybody's heard that. Sex sells. But if you try and come off as sexy, you're probably going to be called slutty because that's what people like, but you're not allowed to show it off. So mixed messages, anybody? Yeah, total mixed messages. So all of these things that we have to do every day, we have to shave and we have to make sure our hair is done properly and our makeup is done. And we have to get the kids ready for school and we have to make sure the lunches are ready and we have to make sure that everything's good for the husband. And, and each situation is completely separate and different for everybody. But there is a lot of this. We have to take care of everybody first, and then we can take care of ourselves. And it's only ourselves that gets put last. That we are somehow selfish if we had the audacity to shower first before we got the kids out of bed, ready for school, and send them on their way. We are constantly being told as women how selfish we are. And that is shrouded in shame. It's a way for us to feel shameful. We are taught to make everyone else comfortable, no matter what the situation is. And I'll give you an example of this. One time I was leaving work, and the guy that I worked with in the morning was standing at his car, and he was taking trash out of his car and throwing it up against the fence in the parking lot. Like literally just taking heaps of trash and throwing it against the fence. And I was horrified. And I'm like, hey, did I just see you littering? And he's like looking at me and I'm like, I felt so bad that I shamed him, that I called him out on his bad behavior, that I literally was like, well, I guess it's not as bad as this. And I changed the subject because I was so uncomfortable making him uncomfortable when he should have been uncomfortable. I should have sat in my uncomfortableness to hear what his response would have been, because there was no reason for me to feel shame for making him feel a certain way when he was caught doing something wrong. This is something that I just read in a novel that I'm reading, and it was about a woman who is a victim of domestic violence. And she talks about, she was newly married, and after the first, couple of nights, everything was wonderful. And then he comes home one night and he punches her in the face, just closed fist punches her in the face. So the next morning, he's like, he murmured softly, his voice so tender, "I'm a beast. I know better than to drink gin. And now, look what I've done." She says, "It's all right. I know. I can't believe that I actually said that to him. I can't believe that in that moment I genuinely felt sorry for him. But he looked so sad and so remorseful." So she said she laid her palm against his cheek, looked into his eyes, telling him, "I knew he hadn't meant it, and that this wasn't who he was, that of course it was the gin." So we're now feeling bad for the person who punched us in the side of the face because he looked so sorry. This is how women are trained. We are trained and conditioned to take the fall and the fault of everything. And that's what we do. And we drive ourselves crazy as a result. We can never put ourselves first. We can never do anything that we want to do. We have to just take abuse and make sure that everybody else is okay with it. I mean, it's ludicrous. And it just continues to go down this path. And it is never going to change until we change it. So I want you to get real comfortable with feeling uncomfortable when other people are in the wrong. Because the more you normalize that for yourself, the more you will be able to stand your own ground. And once you are able to do that, you can help others do it as well. And we can get rid of this ridiculous notion that women are supposed to feel shame at all times. And if we're not doing everything exactly as they say, then we are wrong and should feel shame. Speaking of shame, with all of the talk about the abortion rights, now they are trying to make it seem as if a woman is not willing to die for her unborn child, then she is selfish. And how are they doing this? They are doing this by highlighting cases of women who are near death or have died or have gotten extremely sick with a child that had some sort of fatal anomaly. And there's not a chance that they're going to live. And the woman might have 2 children at home, but she's supposed to just give up her life because that's what a good woman does. Give up her life in case that baby may survive. And if I feel it when I say I would not agree to that. I would not agree to that. And I don't even have kids at home. I am not going to take a chance on losing my life for something that has very minimal, if any, chance of making it at all. And that does not make me shameful. That makes me human. That makes me want to live. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, the only women that we look up to predominantly in this world are people like Princess Di, who was completely selfless, Mother Teresa, who was completely selfless. These women are the only reason that they're revered as they are is because of what they did for other people. So this reinforces the idea that when we do for ourselves, we are selfish. So I want you to start doing things for yourself. I want you to start putting boundaries in place. I want you to start saying no when you want to say no. I want you to say yes to things that you do want to say yes to. I want you to put responsibility on other people in your life to do things for themselves. That your sole purpose here on earth is not to take care of others. You are here to be happy and to live and to bring joy to yourself as well as to others. And if you're constantly bogged down in making sure that everybody else is okay, then you're never going to be able to achieve that. So let go of the shame. Just let go of it because it's never going to serve you. So this is the Fix It Challenge. This is day 2 of 15. We are going to be talking about topics every single day that are likely holding you back from living your best life, things that you can do to increase the happiness that you feel each and every day. So when you're talking about letting go of the shame, think about some of the things that you've done in the past that you may, feel shame about, that you feel guilty for, and think about ways that you can let go of that. What is something that you can do to try and right that wrong in your own mind? I'm not saying that you have to go to somebody and talk to them or anything like that. What is something that you can do for yourself to let yourself off the hook? And stop looking at your own situation in the narrow vision of this patriarchal society, because women have to walk this fine line. And even then, you're 1 foot's off the line and you're going to be, somebody's going to be calling you something about something. So we have to make our own rules about what we want in this life, and we have to follow through with it. It's really just as simple as that. So like I mentioned, yesterday's about gratitude. You can go back and watch yesterday's challenge about the topic of being grateful for the things that you have. And today, letting go of shame. Come back for tomorrow's topic. We're going to be doing this every day for the next 14 days because it's a 15-day challenge, and this is day 2. I thank you for joining in. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. The 15-day challenge is on, and I thought that I would include one of the lives that I'm doing each and every day during these 15 days to show you what I'm doing during the challenge so that you can join us. So hopefully you like what you hear and tune in each and every day. I will be live on Instagram at the Hopefulist, and you can also find the replays on my Facebook page at the Hopefulist there as well. So thank you for tuning in, and go on out there and be badass. I am here rooting you on. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. Together, we are better. Please visit my website at hopefulist.com and remember to hit that subscribe or follow button.